I'm Nabeeha Kazi Hutchins. I'm the president and CEO of PAI. We're an advocacy organization advancing sexual and reproductive health and rights around the world. And I also am proud to say that I serve on the Civil Society Global Reference Group for the Spotlight Initiative. The mandate for Spotlight Initiative on ending violence against women and girls is fundamental and foundational for progress across the SDGs and progress for people and prosperity. We know that if women and girls are experiencing violence and experiencing marginalization, they're not going to achieve education gains and nutrition gains and health gains. And we also know that economies and countries will not be prosperous if women and girls are not safe and secure and able to achieve their ambitions without threat for their security. Universal access to sexual and reproductive health and rights is not only under threat when we look at the political landscape and we look at the threats to civic space, it's also under threat because we run the risk of sexual and reproductive health and rights not becoming a policy priority and therefore not a funding priority. I very much appreciate the language, the words, the policy commitments to advance SRHR. But if we don't have the funding mechanisms on the books and we don't have a mechanism to allocate those resources where they are needed the most, we're not going to achieve what we want. And the number one player, the one that is most critical, the entity that stays the course, is civil society. Civil society is partnering with governments to ensure that policies reflect the needs of communities. Civil society is advocating and elevating evidence and experiences that make a difference. Civil society is making sure that the funds and policies and laws that have been promised to the people are actually delivered upon. And civil society is ensuring rights literacy, that the communities who stand to benefit from policies and from funding are actually accessing. So as we look at resource constraints, what's going to stay are the issues that matter. And it's civil society that will ensure that SRHR, that sexual and reproductive health and rights stay on the agenda, is funded, and that people know that when they access it, they're going to be healthier, better, and stronger, not only for themselves and their families, but for communities writ large. The Spotlight Initiative is actually an example of how we need to move forward in times of resource constraints, where there's a lot of pressure to figure out how do we do more with less. The Spotlight Initiative provides a model. Granted, it is around ending violence against women and girls, but it's a model that can be replicated. When we pool our funds, when we leverage the dollars, when we bring a range of stakeholders to the table, from government to private sector to civil society to academia and research, we can all collectively mobilize around a common agenda with a common ambition and be far more efficient and effective in our mandate. And that's why the results are what they are for the Spotlight Initiative. I do believe that collaboration and bringing many to the table, working together, is what has made our work successful across the board in advancing the rights of women and young people. And we have still far to go, but I think with this model, we're going to be able to achieve the ambitions that we collectively have.